Wonder Man arrives on Disney Plus next week, but just who is Wonder Man? Today I'm going to be taking you through who Simon Williams is, what his powers are, and some of his best comics to read. Let's start with Simon's origin story. Wonder Man's first ever appearance was in 1964 in Avengers issue 9. We don't see much of his backstory in this issue further than how he got his powers, but the basic rundown is that he was a normal guy up until he took over his father's business, which was known as Williams Innovations. Simon was only 20 at the time, and due to his inexperience, the company began to fail. Looking for help, Simon turned to his brother Eric, and Eric suggested that he embezzled funds from the company. When the board of directors found out, they took Simon to trial, and he was found guilty. But before Simon could make it to jail, he was actually taken by Baron Zemo and the Enchantress, who recruited him to their Masters of Evil team. Zemo did this because he knew that Simon partially blamed Tony Stark for his downfall, as Stark Industries was a main competitor of Williams Innovations, and decided to use that hatred to his advantage. He told Simon that he was going to give him powers and then make him out to be a superhero so he could infiltrate the Avengers and take them down from the inside, and Simon agreed to this. To give him those powers, Zemo hit Simon with his Ionic Ray, and it was a complete success. Simon gained powers, which I will go into in a minute. They dubbed him Wonder Man, gave him a costume, and set about infiltrating the Avengers. But it turned out that Zemo was not exactly truthful, and he made Simon believe that without weekly treatments, his powers would dissipate and he would die. After Simon managed to successfully infiltrate the Avengers, he told them about this and they immediately set about trying to help him, but unfortunately could not find a cure for him. Despite their failure to save him and keep his powers, Simon was still incredibly grateful for the Avengers for trying, and when it came to betraying them, he found he couldn't do it. In the battle where he was meant to betray the Avengers, he actually accepted his death and died on the battlefield, or so everyone thought. The truth was actually far stranger. Simon appeared dead because he had no vital signs, but he was actually in a coma, and this was due to the mutagenic changes in his body. His brother Eric, now known as the Grim Reaper, stole his body and resurrected him into a mindless zombie to do his bidding. Simon eventually managed to escape his brother's mind control and went back to being an Avenger again, and soon discovered that he wasn't made of flesh and blood anymore, but actually ionic energy, which mimicked human skin. The transformation took a long time for Simon to adjust to, and was compounded with the trauma of being thought dead, which really affected Simon in battle. In the end, Simon thought he was more play acting as a hero than being an actual hero himself, so he left the Avengers and struck out to become an actor. Simon did reasonably well as an actor before he fell into stunt work, and then he was eventually asked by Hawkeye to become a member of the West Coast Avengers. And since then, Simon has essentially been a mixture of a West Coast Avenger, a main Avenger, an actor, as well as a stuntman. He's gone down several dark paths over the years, but he has always come out as a hero in the end. Now let's look at Simon's powers. Simon's body, to start with, is made up of ionic energy, like I said before, meaning that it is not made out of flesh and blood, and this has rendered him essentially invulnerable, meaning that bullets cannot pierce his skin, he cannot get ill from traditional diseases, or anything like this. And because his body is made out of energy, he's functionally immortal because he doesn't age, and if he ever does die, the energy in his body basically regroups itself and brings him back to life again. On top of this, Simon is super strong, and the limits of his strength have not actually been found yet. What I can tell you right now though is that his strength has been compared to Thor and the Sentry in the past to give you an idea as to just how strong he is. And if that wasn't enough, Simon also possesses superhuman speed, stamina, agility and reflexes. He can fly, he can also sense the energy around him, and can also create force fields using the energy in the air. But one of the main things you should know about Wonder Man is that his brainwaves were actually used to help create Vision. When Ultron was creating Vision, he stole Simon's brainwaves from a memory tape that the Avengers had created years before. He computerized them and put them into Vision's body, helping to bring Vision to life. Due to the shared brainwaves, Simon and Vision did used to refer to each other as brothers, but unfortunately their relationship has soured over the years because both of them are in love with Wanda Maximoff. Now, as for where you can read more about Simon and his adventures as Wonder Man, you can start with issue 9 of the Avengers, and then you can also read Avengers issue 58 for that story with him and Ultron and Vision. Simon's next appearance was in Avengers 151, where he joined the team full time and started becoming friends with Beast, if you are interested in that friendship. If you're looking for Simon's life as an actor, check out Wonder Man 1986. West Coast Avengers is an absolute must-read, especially if you want to know more about Simon's relationship with Vision and the love triangle they have with Wanda. For a more modern take, you can check out 2006's Wonder Man, 2007's Mighty Avengers. He also makes appearances in 2010's Avengers, and finally 2013's Uncanny Avengers from issue 5 onwards. And that is my quick guide to Wonder Man, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me if there's another Marvel character you'd like to see me do a video like this for, so I can get working on it. And don't forget to subscribe to see more of my videos where I'm going to be talking more about the MCU and Marvel comics. But until next time everyone,